You know, some girls are messed up. Some girls have learned that fighting is a precursor to love. Some girls will try to make guys fall in love with them and, you know, string guys along. You guys should recognize girls like that. You know, don't get involved in relationships with girls that are like that, because it will just be a huge headache for you. Recognize what's going on there. All right? Yeah, you had a question?
Yeah, Charlie, did you get on the Nancy Friday?
Yeah, I was just going to get to that, actually.
Okay, because I thought
one of the there was a book that came out that a lot of guys read it. I think you can get the gist just by skimming it. A book by Nancy Friday called My Secret Garden, and it was talking about all women's different sexual fantasies, that kind of thing. I think that sort of shed some light on the way that women being repressed in our society can kind of manifest itself. The basic gist of the book is, you know, all the different fantasies that women have, from rape fantasies to you know, incest fantasies, things like that. And these are the manifestations that can happen because women are being bombarded with these feelings of guilt about their sexuality, or it's just a fantasy they have. I mean, whatever it is, you can sort of get some insight as to what's going on there. Let's move to another topic. Congruence tests. Sometimes people will try to force you into a role that is not who you are. They will try to put you into a role, to create a dynamic between you and them, where you're either trying to impress them, you know, where you're trying to qualify yourself to them, where you're being submissive to them, things like that. This happens a lot in environments where, you know, guys get drunk, where girls are acting a bit cocky, things like that. That can happen. Okay? You've got to be prepared for that. You've got to expect that to happen. It's almost like a game. It's just kind of funny. Some examples. Some guy comes up to you and says, "Hey, dude, no, you're a cool guy, man. Show me something. Show me something." See? What's he trying to do to you there? He's trying to get you to try to impress him, to put you into that role. A girl might say, "Are you going to buy me a drink? If you're going to talk to me, are you going to buy me a drink?" Someone who wouldn't reciprocate it might say, "Hey, go to the store and get me something." And you know that they wouldn't do that for you. Trying to put you into that role. Say that a girl who you just met says, "Is that a pickup line? Are you trying to pick me up?" Trying to put you in that frame as if you want something from her. She's trying to put you in that role. Maybe she calls you a jerk. When that happens, what a lot of guys will do is try to answer logically. But you have to have a line of what kind of behavior you'll respond to logically and what kind of behavior you will basically blow off. What kind of behavior you'll just not even acknowledge it in any logical way. So I came up with sort of a list of different ways that you could respond. One of the kind of wacky things about when I come up with these big lists, because, you know, I'll just sit down and think of the various different ways I have responded in the past, is that a guy will memorize that list and try to unload every last one of them based on one situation. That's weird. Don't do that. The more passive, the better. So the first one that I said, and this is the most passive one, is just to answer straightforwardly, but not be visibly, emotionally affected in any way to what they're trying to do. So say a guy's like, say that you're showing someone pictures, for example. Okay, have you guys ever seen a situation like this? You're showing your friends some pictures, or maybe you're showing some girls some pictures, and some cocky guy comes and he's like, "Oh, pictures. Those are cool, man. Here, show me your pictures, bro. Show them to me. Come here. Show me your pictures." And you're like, "Okay, here it is." And they're like, "Oh, these are awesome, buddy." So what's happening there is he's trying to put you in a role where you're trying to qualify, yourself to him. That's what role he's trying to put you into. So a passive way of responding to that is literally just not showing any emotional reaction to it. Like actually just doing what he wants. To go, "Yeah, sure. Here. Come here." Right? Just no emotional reaction, because what will happen, he's expecting you to go submissive in your eye contact, your body language, your voice. And so when you just show complete indifference to it, he just looks like an idiot. He actually just looks kind of hyper. So that's basically, that's a simpler way to do it, right? If a girl accuses you, you're a jerk. Yeah. That's it, right? No emotional reaction to it. That's important, okay? Another one, this is interesting. Don't answer at all. Just don't answer it. A lot of guys don't realize that. You are not required to answer every question that's asked of you on a day-to-day basis. If someone asks you something and they're trying to, and it's not a legitimate question, it's a question where they're trying to put you into a role, just don't answer. If you want to get a bit scientific here, what that's conveying is that you have a certain sense of reality, and you're so accustomed to being treated a certain way that when someone says something to you that's outside of that, you can't even process it. It's like this. It makes such little sense to you that you just don't answer it. That's basically what it's conveying.
Can you give an example?
So anyway, the third one is to cut off their thread by not responding and asserting a new topic of conversation. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So what that is basically, when you're meeting a girl, she's going to throw these conversational threads at you. She's going to throw stuff at you that it's like a curveball, and it's useless. It's not helping the pickup. It's not helping you in any way. It's moving you away from your goal. If she's throwing something at you that's moving you away from what you're trying to do, just ignore it and just talk about something else. They teach this to you in PR, in media training, where they say they'll say, answer the question that you wish you would have been asked. So if you're some kind of media mogul, you're in the media a lot, and they ask you something like for example, here's the kind of thing I would probably get. Okay, say I were to go on television, they'll say, are you teaching creepy men to manipulate, vulnerable women? Which is, it's so far outside of what I'm doing. It's so outside of my reality. I don't even know how I would answer that, to be honest, because it's so weird of a question to ask. There's no way that I can respond to that. I have no answer for that. So of course, how do you answer? Just answer the question you wish that you would have been asked. You say, I have a strong passion for helping guys transform themselves. And that's what I do. Just answer the question you wish you would have been asked. So if a girl says to you, are you trying to pick me up? One answer to that is you're just like, anyway, I saw this kid today. It was really cool, right? And he did this funny thing. He bumped into a garbage can. Whatever. Tell a funny story. Just boom. Just cut it off. You don't have to answer everything. You don't. Get that in your head. You do not have to give a logical response to everything you're asked. Just cut it off. Force a new thread of conversation. Here's another way. Answer in the way that they want, but make them wait for it. So say that someone says, can you go get this for me? And maybe you'd actually be willing to do it. Yeah, I'll do it in a bit. And you could still do it, but you could do it later. Say that a girl says, buy me a drink. Maybe you could buy her a drink, but make her wait. What we're getting at here is that you're showing that you're in your own reality and you're not responding to everything that's being thrown at you. That's the issue here. Next one. To answer almost in the way they want, but to do something that's slightly different and funny. So for example, very basic. If someone says, here, come over here, right? Or here, could you walk towards me? You're just like, yeah, sure. Like that, It's just any silliness that shows that you're not, because if they're trying to clown on you, they're trying to tool you, just to show that you're not being affected by that, you're not being pulled into it. Next one, to jokingly call them out for trying to step up. Like if a girl says something, calls you jerk. Whoa, you trying to step up? What's up? Right? Just plow it like that, Tease them for it. If they try to put you into that kind of frame, hey, whoa, uh-oh, stepping up. That's all you got to do. Just joke about it. Just make jokes with it. Another great one. Joke with them that whatever they said is playing up to an earlier observation that you made about them. That's a great one. Say that earlier you said that they're troublemakers. Say you called the girl a troublemaker as a joke. And then she says something kind of weird to you that throws you a curveball. You go, you know what? Wow, you are a troublemaker. What that's conveying is that they're basically playing into the reality that you set. It's almost conveying that they have a weak reality in a way because you called them something and they're just playing into it. So they're just living up to exactly your expectations, gives you the position of power. Another good one, joke that they're just too powerful for you to handle and that they win. That's a great one. Like, if someone throws something just totally weird at you, some kind of test, just go, whoa, wow, you got me. You win. You're too powerful. Just too powerful for me to deal with right now. Anything like that, okay? Anything, just not taking it too seriously. Answer with something equally random and as absurd as the role that they're trying to put you in. What does that mean? If they ask you some completely weird question, just come up with some equally absurd answer. You don't have to give that the time of day in any way, shape, or form. Another one, answer cryptically. A lot of guys in Hollywood you'll see doing that. They get it, the artsy type, right? Someone asks them a question, it's like, oh yeah, it's not being real, bro. So, gotta be like, yeah, be chill, bro. And then you're like, what? Right? And that's because, and what they're doing is they're actually pulling you into their frame because they're answering cryptically and you're trying to figure out what they're saying, so they're pulling you into their reality. Last couple. To do whatever they want, but make them do something first. Say that a girl says to you, I don't smoke myself. Say she says, do you have a cigarette? You say, sure, make your best animal noise. Make them make the animal noise, go, that was awesome, here. You earned it. Like that. Jokingly imitating them. That's great. Whatever they said, just say it back. She says, you're a jerk, just go, you're a jerk. Okay? My old buddy, 26, he would take 2 cigarette cartons out like this and make them like talking heads, and he would imitate their conversation, like, I just want to talk to you. You're me, you're a jerk. Go back and forth like that. Anything imitating them, it's great. Give them a weird look. That's a good one. If a girl just says something totally weird to you, just go like that. Just don't respond. Just give them a weird look. Ignore them entirely. That's when guys are kind of being dicks. Just a lot of times, if guys try and put you in a role, just ignore it. Literally, just keep talking to your friend as if you can't even hear what they're saying. That's great. Last one, I gave a lot of examples of it, is misinterpretation. Misinterpretation is great. Misinterpret that they said something entirely different to you. Misinterpret that they complimented you. Say thank you. I'm glad you like it. Misinterpret they try to impress you. Go, hey, whoa. I'm already impressed. You don't have to impress me. You're doing great. Imitate that they tried to come on. Misinterpret that they tried to come on to you. Go, hey, you know what? Whoa, I'm having a great conversation right now. I'm having a lot of fun, but I think we need like more trust, comfort, and connection before we can do something like that. Act as if they were kidding and trying to entertain you. She calls you a jerk. She's like, yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's like she's trying to entertain you. Another one, misinterpret that they said something funny and weird that they didn't mean to say. If the girl keeps saying there's 6 of them, say, whoa, I can't have sex with you. I'm sorry. Okay? Just anything weird. Another great one, misinterpret that they mumbled and that you couldn't hear them. So they have to keep repeating it over and over. That's a good one too. What? Sorry, I didn't get that. Pardon me? Well, I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you. Okay? These are frame reversals. Now look, notice what I wrote underneath here, because it's important. This kind of thing can be one of the most severely misunderstood aspects of social dynamics. It's something to be used sparingly, otherwise it comes across immediately as obnoxious overcompensation. So again, what I've given you guys here is a pretty good list of a variety of different things that probably people have done to you, and ways that you can respond when women throw a curveball at you when you're talking to them. A lot of the time, when women first talk to you, they throw these congruence tests at you to see what you're made of. They'll do it quickly. The other day I'm on a bus, I'm playing a video game machine that my friend lent to me, and the girl immediately is like, ooh, we've got a video game player here. Right? What do you guys think that is? Immediately, that's a congruence test. She's throwing that at me right away. If I'm like, no, like say that I actually told the truth. I don't normally play video games. My friend just lent it to me, and I thought I would try it out. You guys think that's a good answer? It's a terrible answer, even if it's true. So I can't remember. I probably said something. I remember at first I just looked at her. I was like, just kept playing video games, right? So then of course that interests her. So she's like, so you know, why are you all into these video games? I love video games. I love video games. I have not left my house in 5 years because of these video. I have the strongest thumbs, powerful. Okay, whatever, just saying stuff here. The point is that's going to hook that interest quickly. Okay, when girls first like you, oftentimes they'll throw these little pieces at you, and it's the way that you respond to it. Now the thing is, some of those responses I gave that were actually probably a little bit more higher energy than I might even normally go. Usually I'll pretty much just, if I don't like it, I'll just blow it off. And that's usually the most powerful way. It's just the least reactive way as possible. Because a lot of time when guys use the more fancier techniques, they come across as very reactive. They come across as very kind of, so it's actually really horrible. I might deal with this on workshop all the time. And, I have to unwire it. So the point is that have an idea of what you'll respond to, what you won't. When women throw that stuff at you, that's cool. That's a good sign. That's her way of playing with you. Play with her back. That's a great sign. Because the truth is, a woman's not going to say that to some dorky guy. This girl's not like some evil creature that walks up to dorky guys and starts tooling them for playing video games at random. At least I don't think she is. So the point is that she's doing that to you because she's kind of curious about you. She's interested to see what you're about. It's a psychological thing. Women will do it. When you have a girlfriend, even when you have a girlfriend and she sees some guy that's hotter than you, a lot of the time your girlfriend will come back to you acting bitchy and grumpy to see what you'll do. They'll do that a lot. And if you don't know how to handle that, then they lose attraction for you. But if you don't show any response to it and you just think it's funny and you play it off like it's very cute, and you have that kind of attitude towards it, then you come off as strong and she keeps her attraction for you. In fact, most girls I've dated are like that. They're very testy. And a lot of the time they say as a man, a lot of people will say this, is that you always have to have your own purpose in life outside of your woman, because then when women come and give you these tests, they kind of just bounce off of you because it really doesn't affect what you're about anyway. You always know you can meet someone new, so it's fine. But just remember that, guy. Okay, guys? Yeah. Let's do a microphone.
What if you're on a date with a girl and the restaurant, she says, oh, that waiter sure is cute. How do you react to that?
She says your shirt is cute? Your
waiter sure is cute. Well, how do you react to that?
You just go, yeah, I'd fuck him. Or you could just go, cool. Just cool. Whatever. Just don't respond to it. Yeah, because especially when you have a girlfriend, like you can do the whole like, yeah, I'd fuck him thing, but when you have a girlfriend, there's only so many times you can do that. So before she might want you to or something. So you want to be, like, I'm very passive. Like with my girlfriend, man, I'm just very, very passive. I mean, she'll throw this stuff at me, and I'm like, look, I got a business to run here. I'm just like, I don't even feel it. I will tell if my girlfriend starts to go crazy, I'll say, look, and this is true, by the way. I'm not trying to mess with her in any way. I'll say, look, whatever like argument you want to have, just imagine I'm like answering it all, like answering all your questions. Go have it, and then like come back and we'll hang out, okay? But I don't say it in a mean way. Because there's, especially in a relationship, there's also a balance of showing if it is legitimate. Because sometimes the girl's coming to you with a legitimate issue. And that's where you see a lot of those confusion. Because a lot of guys will learn this material, but they'll go too far with it. They'll take it too far. If their girlfriend has a legitimate issue with them, they might, they think it's all a test. Right? They think everything's a test. And they start walking through life thinking everyone's out to test them. That's where you get situations like a seminar like this, where I'll walk in the room and I'll say, can I borrow that chair? And the guy's like, how much will you pay me? And I'm like, just please give me the chair, please. I got to do a seminar here. And they think I'm testing them. I had one guy who I asked to come up as an example, and he wouldn't do what I was saying because he thought I was testing him. So that's like that paranoia that everything is a test. Chances are it's probably not a test. It's just that if they're trying to put you into a role and you can see it's like there's some intentionality behind it, then in that case, that's fine. Generally, though, you want to be passive with this. You want to be, as passive as possible. Really, the best answer to that, yeah, the make sure he's hot, cool, awesome. That's it. Just no reaction to it whatsoever. Don't let it enter into your reality. Don't let it in there. Okay? Because in a lot of way too, if you do the whole yeah, I'd fuck him angle, if you say it, but she can hear that fluctuation in your voice, like she hears that in your vocal cords, you kind of shook a bit because you were affected by it, that's where that's actually where you get into trouble. So it should never have that whole kind of thing behind it. It should just be like who you are. It's just your regular answer. Did we have another question, by the way? Or okay, because that's how you grab the mic back. So those are congruence tests, guys. The kind of picture, the sort of picture. Why don't we'll do another quick question, yeah?
Been tested and failed. Is there something that you can do to recover from that? Because I know when I've been tested and it's coming on, and sometimes I've passed it. I mean, sometimes I've failed it. I'm like, damn.
What are some ways that you failed it?
I don't know. You just get that their energy turns. I mean, I'm not thinking of a specific situation.
You just react. You can feel yourself reacting.
Yeah, you know it. You know you've blown it. It's like, damn.
Okay. Yeah.
Is there a recovery from that, or do you just say, you know what, walk away?
Well, once that girl's got in her head that you're a chump, it's pretty hard to work out of that. I mean, she could see with other girls maybe, but see, if I tell you to go do that, you'll do it from a place of reaction, and you'll be like, oh, this is gonna work, my super plan, and then she'll feel that too. So I mean.
But I mean, you've been sitting there working a set with a girl and something like that, and she gives you a test, she throws it at you, and you're like, oh damn, like you miss it, and then is there like a recovery?
Do you want to know why I don't fail tests that often though? I mean, pretty rarely, because I really don't care. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Why would I?
Unattached to
it. Doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Got
it.
Yeah. Most of the ways I pass tests, I just ignore it. I think it's funny. I just ignore it. I'm like, oh, cool. That's it. You know who does that? Donald Trump. You see him doing that on TV a lot. You see that. I remember he was on like Larry King or one of those shows, and the girl came on and she was like, Donald Trump, why do you feel the need to brag about your money? Why do you feel the need? Right? So you see, she's putting him into a box because whatever he says, he's qualifying himself to her. He's justifying himself. And you know Trump, this guy, because he really doesn't care. This interview could go horrible. It will not affect his life. He does not care. So he's like, oh, well, sometimes, when a business has success, like Oprah, some businesses like that, it gets talked about. But, yeah, overall, I don't really feel the need to talk about it. That's it, right?
Ignored her.
Yeah, and I'm sure the girl was like, because, it's just, just doesn't care. And he really doesn't care. I saw Trump on Conan O'Brien, and Conan kept trying to tease him, right? And he was like, Trump. Trump just like that, just does not care. Just completely unreactive to it. Just does not, unaffected. So I think he's kind of a funny guy. He's kind of got like a cool kind of thing going. Sure, he's got some other advantages too, but point being, just don't respond to it. Don't show any.
You can't fail
reaction.
A test that you don't take.
Exactly. It's like, all right, whatever, But I mean, yeah, if you fail a test, can you get it back? Sure. I mean, if you go in strong, like we said, women live in the emotion of the moment. Women, their minds can change very quickly. So, who knows, right? But as a guy, you don't want to be coming from an angle of like, because what can happen to you, you learn this stuff, and you get caught up in going back to that old girl who like blew you off or that you want so bad, or your old girlfriend, and you think you're like Luke Skywalker and that's Darth Vader, and that for you to become a master Jedi, you have to like defeat the final demon in your head. You'll think like that. Or I remember my first girlfriend, if I could just make her like me again, that would make it real. But that's bullshit, because there's no one person who dictates whether or not it's real. It's false. There's no one person who has that power over you. That's the power that you're giving to them. The truth is, you're never going to have the perfect sniper thing where you could just point at that girl and always get her. Some guys will tell you they can. I've heard a lot of guys tell you they can. I've been out with them. I've never seen it. Okay? Being good with women isn't about that. That's not what being good with women is about. Being good with women is just about being a cool guy who doesn't worry if every woman likes you, who's not sweating that, and who just naturally picks up women as he goes along. That's what it's about. It's about having that dragnet. It's not about like the one little fishing line just trying to get that one fish. It's about that dragnet of having that natural personality that just comes across to women really well, and women just happen to be attracted to you. It's just who you are, you know? And if you've got that one girl who you failed the test with, who cares, man? Who cares? If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, but you cannot get stuck on that. Yeah. And that's your best chance, and that's your best chance of making it work, by the way, is really what I just said. I'm not a big fan of complex structures for newbies. I used to be more into them. I found them useful, but what I find is that people can't remember them. I find people get stuck in their head and there's a lack of retention. So what I did over the last couple years was really refine down the structure that I teach to being as straightforward as possible and as potent as possible. What I've listed here is a very, very potent formula for repeated success. It's one of those things that if you do this, it just works. Bang, 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 bang. Like if you have it down, you could go out to a nightclub and you could approach 5 women that night. You'd have 5 phenomenal interactions and 5 very solid phone numbers. And probably you could take your pick from among them to, you know, head out somewhere after the club afterwards. This is the formula that I'm going to teach you guys. Very, very straightforward. It goes like this. These are elements of a solid pickup. You don't have to memorize them, but I do want you to at least understand them, at least for today. Basically goes open, hook, touch, vibe, qualify, number, venue change, sex. Open being you get the conversation going. Hook being you quickly differentiate yourself from the other guys. You got to stand out from them in some way. There's got to be something about your personality that stands out. Touching, we talked about your issue and about how you were doing the touching. You didn't have the touching going so that the dynamic isn't there. Why do we want to have some kind of physical contact going early? Because you want to establish that kind of interaction style with that girl so that when you escalate, it's more comfortable. Vibing, that's just sharing stories, shooting the shit, having a great time. Qualifying her, that is giving her some kind of reason as to why you'd want to see her again. Believe it or not, when you start to get better at this, the hardest part is not making the girl attracted to you. The hard part is showing her why she should feel good about going with you. What is it about her that you like that would show her that this is something she'd want to be a part of? Phone number, venue change, sex. You guys know those. So let's get it started. Some of you will want to go out with what's called a wingman. Wingman, it's the old Top Gun terminology. Wingman is when you go out with a buddy. Going out with a buddy is great. If you guys can get a buddy to go out with, it can be a lot like a training partner for a gym. It's fantastic. If you cannot get a buddy, don't let that hold you back. Absolutely not. Going out alone is fantastic. It's great, builds character, but it's also a little bit more difficult when you're starting out. So if you can get a wingman, great. If not, don't worry about it. If you do decide to go with a wingman, a couple things to keep in mind. Most guys, when speaking to a girl, will be talking to her, and when their wingman comes in, what do? Oh, hey, what's up, buddy? Boom, back on the girl. It's terrible. It communicates all the wrong things. If you're talking to a girl and your wingman comes in, do what the girls would do. If you're talking to a girl and her friends come, you know that you're going to be probably sitting there with your dick in your hands while she goes to hug her friend and squeal and cheer and whatever, when you're just going to be sitting there. You know that. We're going to talk about how to deal with that also. So when your friend comes, if you're talking to the girl, immediately turn your body language to the friend. What's up, man? Give him some respect, you know? Say hi, be happy to see him. He's your friend. If you're not happy to be there with your friend, then your friends suck. What's that say about you? So you've got to give him that. You've got to give him that. So hey, what's up? Now you want to quickly catch him up to speed with the conversation. Say, you know, we're just talking about whatever we're just talking about. Just say it quickly, the short version. Otherwise, she'll nod off. Then give them a big introduction. We call that accomplishment intro. Accomplishment intro is like old school pickup stuff. Okay, this goes way back. Very, very important. Whatever it is that you say about them, make it big. It's okay to brag about you can't brag about yourself, but you can brag about your friend. So that's kind of cool. If he's got something cool going on in his life, say he did this, whatever that cool thing is. Great, he just parachuted recently. He's a race car driver. Whatever it is that he is. If it's not that cool, that's okay too. It's fine, no big deal. You say, oh, this is my good friend. You say, you know what? If your mom knew that you were talking to this man, she would be pissed. Your mom would not want you talking. This is a bad man. No, don't say hi. Don't do it. Okay? That kind of thing, it's good, playful, anything like that. But whatever it is, big up your friend. Big him up, right? Just give him some kind of props. Another great thing. It's awesome. So awesome. Most guys don't do it. Joke around with your friend using inside jokes in front of the girls. It's great. Your friend comes in. If if you're buddies with this guy, you should have some kind of inside joke, kind of a style of interaction that you guys have. Do that. If you immediately turn, just joke around with your friend, she's going to see that, and it's so funny that she wants to be a part of it. She wants a little piece of that. So she's going to try and get in on that. Now, if you have some kind of inside jokes going on with your friend, and she's reacting to try to take part in that, what is she doing now? She's interested. She's leaning towards you. She is investing into you. She is reacting to you. So you always want to have that, sort of like those little pieces where you joke around with your buddy, so you guys look like cool guys. Most of the time, and I'll talk about this later, if I'm with like one of the RSD boys and we've got girls back at the house, I'm probably talking equally as much to my friends as I am with the girls. What's that called? It's called being normal. Being a normal guy. The girls want to go with regular cool guys that are having fun. The girls don't want to be the party. They want to get let into the party. So you've got to be the party. If you and your wing are having a great time and you're the life of the party, the people in the club can see that and they want in. So many guys are going around the club, wandering around the club like stalkers, looking around for that next girl. Give me value. I call that value scanning. They're value scanning. They want someone else to entertain them. They're like, where's some girl I could talk to? What can we do? They're scanning around. If you can't create a vibe inside your own group, how are you going to create a vibe in somebody else's group? You should already be joking around with your friend, having a good time, shooting the shit. You could almost call that gaming each other in a non-gay way. And sort of just shooting the shit with each other, having fun. When you see the girls, think of the transition here, guys. It's so simple. You're already shooting the shit with your friends. You walk by a girl, tap her on the shoulder, boom, she's right in that conversation. You don't even need an opener. It's a natural thing. It's totally natural. You don't need, to have that piece that you go in with. If you've already got a friend who you're joking around with, you'll merge them into conversation so quickly. It's great. So always be joking around with your friends. Always give them the body language. Always give him that accomplishment introduction. Give him his respect when he comes in. Now, there's different dynamics. When there's two guys and two girls, there is a different dynamic going on than when it's just one guy. With two guys and two girls, the way that it will generally go is the conversation will start as a four-way conversation. You and your friend are joking around, they're joking around, it's all going back and forth, you're all joking around, you're all having fun. What will eventually happen is when the girl's buying temperature goes up, the conversation will splits into two separate conversations. Hopefully, you and the girl and him and a girl. So, you'll see it split, okay? You'll know, when you're in a club, you'll know the guys that are, you'll see the people that are quote-unquote picking each other up because you'll see the two very lively conversations. Because you know that if that's the girl's boyfriend, she's probably not having that much fun. So you know that it's like probably two people who the girls just met, the conversation has split, that's how it's going. Now what's going to happen, remember we talked about girl eye coding, right? How the girls will eye code. What's always happening is this. If one of the friends is not having fun and the other one is, more often than not, even if the friend likes you and your wingman is screwing up, your girl will leave. That's how it almost always is. That's how it almost always goes down. It's just like when you go back to the house with two girls. If one girl wants sex and the other one doesn't, it's quite common that they just both won't have sex. It's not, there's different situations, but it's something that can commonly happen. So when you go in, it's a 2-on-2 approach. Usually the ways that you'll do it, there's a variety of ways that you can do it. One way is to have your one friend go in on his own, warm it up, and then your friend will come in and merge in. That's a very common way. That's good. Why? Shows a lot of confidence. The guy went up by himself, that's good. Another way is just to go in with your friend. If you're already joking around, you have a great vibe between the two of you, you're already being kind of loud, you're partying, you're having fun, merge them in easily, bang. Very easy, very smooth. That's a great one too. You and your friend should be ball busting each other. I was out with Todd from RSD last night, and when he's getting the girl's phone number, I was telling the girl not to give the phone number, saying, "Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. He's bad. Don't do it. Don't do it." It just makes her want to give it more. Okay, now I could really see some of you guys misusing that one, and messing up and making your friends hit you or get angry or something. But we do a lot of ball busting on each other, that kind of thing. It's good. It creates that good vibe. The basic power of that is that you're showing that you're not a try-hard. You're showing that you're not some try-hard guy who's so desperate to get in with that girl that you're having fun. She understands that you could walk away at any point and you'd still be having fun. The girl, whenever you speak to a woman, she always has to understand that you're having fun on your own time, and that yes, you might be enjoying her company, and yes, you're drawn to female energy, and that's just the type of guy you are, but at the same time, if they were gone, you could just be having just as much fun on your own or just as much fun with some other girls, and that you're okay with that. You're comfortable with that. It's the most important thing. So the more that you're joking around with your friend, that's great. Now with that 2-on-2 dynamic, there's some interesting parts of it. When you go to extract both girls, like when you go to take the girls, say, from the club to the restaurant, usually both girls have to be into it. That's how it usually goes. It's always that thing. Sometimes even when you're talking to two girls, you'll see them holding hands back to back like this, like that, and like that. And you'll actually see, if you're perceptive, the one girl will pump the other girl's hand, and the other girl will double pump the girl's hand back. And I've noticed this a lot. And it's like they're both going into state, both of their buying temperatures are going up, and they want to know that the other girl is having the same fun because they don't want their friend to judge them, and also because girls put their friends first usually. Usually girls will. When girls go out to a club, it's not necessarily, not to be paranoid, but it's not necessarily the safest environment for them. It's a relatively safe environment, but they want to look out for each other. They want to make sure that nothing crazy happens. They've got to make sure that their friends don't get drunk and go home with some random guys. The girls know that their friends' buying temperatures are going up from alcohol, dancing, all that kind of stuff, and they know that if they don't quote-unquote cock block some guy who's not worthy, that their friend might wind up going home with some guy that they don't necessarily want to go home with. Girls are the kind of creatures that will say things like, they're in a cab and they go, "Okay, we'll go to these guys' house, but we have to promise we're not going to have sex with them." They're having to sort of keep themselves from doing what they want to do. So that dynamic there, where they're both having fun and they're both having a good time, it's very, very important. I'm going to talk later about different things that you can do if one of them is not having fun, because there's different ways that you can handle it. All sorts of different ways you can handle that. I'll tell you this though, the two set, like the two guys and two girls, has got to be the most consistent way of having a lot of success with women. It is so consistent, because from a girl's perspective, two cool guys, that is awesome for girls, because they can go out with them and with total safety. It's a situation where it's a lot more comfortable and safe for them. They're both having fun. No one's judging. So the two cool guys think it's a good situation. It's actually so easy that it can become addictive. You actually want to go out with your wing all the time and do it, and that's actually terrible, because you should never need a wing. You should never be out by yourself and go, "Oh, my wing's not here." That's horrible. So you don't want to get addicted on it. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing to understand. It's a lot of fun. I love going out with just one other guy and having a great time. It's funny because a lot of people will say that the best way to go out is with a group of girls. You guys see how that could be powerful? You're out with a group of girls, and I agree. I do it all the time. But in a lot of ways, I actually enjoy just going out with one other wing, because it's so blindingly efficient, is just so good. Like, two cool guys is awesome if you view your buddy as being cool. If you view your buddy as being cool, he'll be cool. If you're kind of like, oh, I wish all girls were around, well, then of course girls will feel that. But if you're proud of your friends, that's what it's all about. Like, if I'm teaching a workshop and the guys that are on that workshop, you know, they're new, maybe they're a little bit socially awkward. When I'm talking to the girls, I will be so proud of those guys. I'll show so much enthusiasm towards them that the girls will think that there must be something amazing about them they're not seeing, and they'll want to find out. That, to me, is what it's all about. It's like, you've always got to be proud, even of your house. This even goes, we're going on tangents here, but even of your house. If you live in a terrible house, it doesn't matter. You've got to be proud of it. If you've got a job that sucks, you've got to be proud of it. You've got to talk about it in a way that brings passion to it. And if it's that down low, then you've got to talk about some other passion that you have that you consider as your true occupation. But whatever it is in your life, be enthusiastic about it. Your wingman, your friends, your life, your social circle, you should always be talking good stuff. If you ever talk anything negative or victim style to a girl you just met, you're pretty much blowing yourself out. So always have that kind of positivity. Let's do a microphone. I think we had another question after that too.
No, I was just going to ask you, with that scenario, with when you're with your wing, you're with your friend, and you know, one guy's talking, like, let's say I'm talking to the girls and so forth, and the other guy is not doing well, or that girl doesn't like that guy. Then what's the next? You know, what do you do next? What's like the next step?
Well, I was going to go into that on the extraction part of the program, but I mean, the preview is basically you can either swap, or you can kind of address it. There's different ways that you can address it. So we'll get into that. Okay. But is that an issue that you get sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it sucks, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, you've got to. I mean, you know, another obvious answer is just take the phone number. You know, it's not ideal, but you could just take the phone number and call later. That's a lot of times that's what you got to do.
That's a good idea.
You know, but yeah, the attitude that you have towards your friend will help you. Like I just went on a huge rant about, and basically, you know, you can also swap up. You can also talk to the girls, stuff like that. Okay, so we'll get more into that later. All right. Do we have another question, by the way?
The girl code within a set when they're not having a good time versus like when like you go up to try to dance with a group or something, and then they're all like, well, we just want to dance with our friends.
Yeah.
Like, what's the psychology behind that?
By the way, I'm not a big fan of the whole the kind of like, you know, dancing kind of thing, right?
Right.
Probably if I was a better dancer, I'd be more into it. I've seen some guys do it though, and it looks kind of cool. So I should maybe get into it. But yeah, it's not my style for sure. It seems to me it's kind of hit or miss.
Right.
But anyway, the bad girl code is kind of like, I don't know if you guys could get a close-up of this. It's kind of like they kind of just, okay, they do one of two things. They either give like the weird look like that, or they go on like freeze frame, okay, which is very funny, like when they lock up, and they just sit there like that, right? It's like freeze frame, right? And then like and then you know, the girl will see her friend is like locked up, and she's like, oh, we're going to the bathroom, see you later, right? It's either the two ones they give you is either we have to go dance, or we have to go to the bathroom. And it's funny because as I just said that, I haven't heard that I have to go to the bathroom or we have to go dance in a long time. So you will move past that. But I remember, I heard that a lot, man. I heard that for a long time. You know, I definitely encouraged a lot of girls to dance and go to the bathroom my day. So yeah, you know, it takes
Yeah. So when they freeze you out right away when they're all in a group, I mean, do they really just want to dance with their friends, or what's the psychology behind that?
Well, they do. Like, okay, say a girl says to you, you know, another one I got sometimes was like, I haven't seen my friend in a long time. We're having a conversation. You know, please go away. Okay, and it may be true. I mean, of course it might be true. But bear in mind, if you come in cooler, it would have ceased to be true. So, you know, I mean, you know, they may well want to dance, but I'm sure that, you know, if Matthew McConaughey wanted to dance with them, they might make, you know, a little space for him to kind of get in, you know, right? So that's the thing. So, but, I mean, look, you can't take it personally. It's it's shooting basketballs, man. Shooting basketballs. It's the only way that whole, like, old school success mentality, which goes all the way back to, like, you know, Napoleon Hill and guys like that, which are, like, you know, the old school, like, success gurus. It's basically everything is feedback. All rejection is learning. You're just modifying. You're never a victim. Don't worry about it. Every rejection is one step closer to a success. All that stuff. Okay, You've got to be in that mindset, so it's fine, okay? The number one person who's taken more blowouts and rejections in this room, thank you very much, okay? That's the thing. I've taken more than anybody, probably more than all of you combined. So, whatever. It is what it is, right? I don't really care. And I got to tell you, I really don't care. Right. Like when I say that I don't care about rejection, I cannot emphasize to you enough, it's ridiculous to care about rejection. It's irrational. It's dumb. And if you realize that logically, you may not feel it emotionally, right? You can understand that logically, but how it feels is a very different thing. But by going out for a period of time, that comes into alignment. It's the same way, remember, like if you're a kid, when I was a little kid, 4 years old, I was probably afraid to like go down to the laundry room, in the dark laundry room downstairs. At some point at maybe 4 and a half, I said, you know what, I know that there's no cookie monsters going to jump out of the laundry machine, so I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to go and I'm going to do it. And eventually by doing it, my sense of reality caught up to that. So the idea that rejection doesn't matter, while it may not be something that you emotionally feel for now, if you keep at it, I mean, unless you're dealing with some serious head issues here, if you keep at it, as a man, you're guys, you know, you're men, you'll figure it out, okay? Most of you, your relatives, I can assure you, okay, whether you're British or Greek or Asian, have fought in bloody, brutal wars. They have been shot and stabbed and had all sorts of terrible things happen. We're in this little sheltered little bubble here. You're out, you know, talking to some chicks maybe that aren't friendly. That's about as bad as it's going to get, okay? So you come equipped to handle this. You come equipped. You're born with that. All right, so let's go into opening. Let's get into opening. The open. Let's clarify some misconceptions about the open. Warm versus cold approaches. A lot of guys believe that they need a warm approach. So when they see a girl that they want, they will try to establish eye contact prior to approaching. By the way, some of the guys who do that do have a lot of success. Like I've seen and met guys that try to get eye contact first and have success. That's great, awesome, but I just got to speak from my own experience here. It's absolutely unnecessary. There's no reason to wait for eye contact. You know, it's just one more good thing, sure. But when you're good, it really doesn't matter. Because you're going to go in there. You're going to go in, tap on the shoulder. You're in. You're going to have attraction within 10 seconds regardless. You're going to have attraction very, very, very quickly. So don't worry about scoping it out, waiting, you know, that kind of thing. Because that's going to put you inside your head. That's going to get you waiting for that reaction. Now, if you have eye contact, awesome. Great. It's just that much more of a bonus. But get my strongest recommendation, speaking from my own experience, speaking as a guy who probably could approach 100 women tonight and probably 99 of them would be fantastic interactions regardless of where it went. Just boom, you're there. That's it. You appeared like a ninja out of nowhere. One of the most common things I hear with girls I start dating is, you just appeared out of nowhere. How did this even happen? You just appeared. And that's right. That's how it should be. You should just appear. Boom, you're there. Hello, I'm here. What up? Okay? That's how it should go. So don't worry about that. Now, there's different kind of takes on how to work a club. There's different ways of looking at it. One way of looking at it is like you approach the girl that you want, you stick on that girl for most of the night, and then hopefully you go to a restaurant after, and then ideally to your house after, but you know, whatever. Another way of looking at this, also very cool, is actually to work the whole venue. So that would be like, just talk to different people and then be on your way. Bounce around. Bouncing around is very cool. I think a lot of guys who are used to sort of like just going in and doing the chatting, just chat, when you actually go to like the bounce around paradigm, it's actually a lot of fun. Because when you bounce around all over the place, the girl gets that feeling that you really don't want anything from them. And say that you talk to like 20, 30 girls that night, because you're just bouncing like really fast, at least 5 of them, guaranteed, will approach you towards the end of the night and strike up a conversation with you and offer their numbers. It's really fun. My buddy Craig was the first guy that turned me on to that, and it's really cool. The other side of it, though, is just you know, go to the girl you want and stick on it. Stick right there, which is probably what I do a bit more commonly, and that works well too. You just stick on her, great. Now, this is one that a lot of guys are not comfortable with, so I always exaggerate this just to really sink the point in, okay? This is my genius way of opening any girl, okay? It's brilliant, okay? It just goes like this. If we can just get a thing going here. It's phenomenal. It's 100% consistent. You just go like this. Watch. Ready? Is it cool? Okay. All right, that's not a very friendly girl. All right.
Not a very attractive girl either.
Yeah. No, well, I don't know. Maybe. Okay, let's go. Ta-da! That's it. Watch again. Okay? And I emphasize this point ridiculously because guys forget it. You just go like that. That's it. Just boom. Okay? Even this, if it's through a crowd, if there's a girl I want to talk to through a crowd, I will even lean through like that. Okay? Even if they're passing by, girls passing by, whoa, like that. Anywhere you go, okay? Okay? Oh, I'm unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. Okay? Just go, okay? That's how you get it. Simple as that. Just go in, boom. Like that, just tap, tap. Not hard, by the way. Not boom, down, okay? Not scared, okay? Just normal, normal, normal. Big operative word for learning pickup, guys. Normal, okay? Tap, tap, like that. Immediately, when you do that, you get attention. You get attention quickly. Very, very consistent. Tap her. Then you got to say something. So you tap her on the shoulder. Never be afraid of that. You want to be, when you're out in the club, you want to be in a sort of a state where you are just talking to whoever you want to talk to. You want to be in that talkative state. So anyone you want to talk to, you just tap them on the shoulder, you're good to go. Now notice the next thing that I listed after this is establish dominance with eye contact and your voice. And I probably should have written body language there too, but I mean, eye contact and voice is really the crucial thing. When you tap the girl on the shoulder and you open your mouth, she's going to be listening to your voice for like submissive, nervous, fearful tensions. And she's also going to be looking at your eye contact to see if your pupils are dilating in any kind of way, showing that you're nervous, if you're not able to hold her eye contact, if you're looking down. I remember when I was actually out of the club scene for a while, and I was with Tim, one of the RSD instructors, and I had a really rough night. And I couldn't figure out why, because I thought I was doing well. And Tim pointed out to me, it was really interesting. He said to me, dude, you're looking down in between your sentences. Like I was sort of going, like I talk, and then in between the sentences, I kind of look down like that. And I was like, are you kidding? He's like, no, I think you're doing it. And I modified it, and I don't know if it's just, you know, luck or whatever, but boom, problem solved, and I was doing great. Okay? So probably that was it. So you want to have that. Now, of course, the newbie mistake is to have like that burning, almost like creepy guy on eye contact, right? Like that. And of course, a lot of this goes back to that thing that I said earlier about ego defense mechanisms, and also feeling as though you're not enough, and as if you have to somehow change your behavior very, very drastically in order to be the kind of guy that gets women. Learning how to get women is not about for most guys. For most of you guys in here, learning to get women is not about changing your behavior drastically. It's just about those little tweaks that makes the difference. Being cool is it's like a subtle kind of thing. It's not like this huge difference. It's like these very subtle differences, but to get those subtle differences is harder than it seems. If you guys can follow what I'm saying from that. Like to be a cool guy, like the difference between a guy who gets girls and doesn't, a lot of the time, you could probably find two guys that look very similar. They act pretty similar. The one guy who acts cool, he's just got subtle little things. Like maybe he's just got like a little sort of style about himself in the way that he dresses or jokes around. Maybe he just can feel vibes well. He just communicates in a very real way. Isn't really worried about what people think about him, so he communicates very freely, and that's cool. Versus the guy who doesn't have that, he's just a little bit worried about how people feel about him, but just that little bit of worry is kind of holding him back. And to get past that, it's just that little tweak that makes all the difference in the results that he's going to get. It's amazing how quickly these little tweaks can make a huge difference. So right when you open, you've got that good eye contact, good voice. And you know, when I say good voice, like one of the things that people said about me, see, I wasn't born with a deep voice. My voice, believe it or not, is even deeper than it was a couple years ago right now, which is not very impressive. But, you know, I wasn't born with a deep voice. And that's a shame and all. But it doesn't affect me. It's fine. It doesn't matter. What the women are looking for in your voice is the way that it sort of resonates in your chest and sort of comes up in a sort of, you know, in an expressive way, in a way that expresses certainty, confidence, fun, positivity. Positivity is like huge. That's really what they're looking for. If you look at a group of guys or a group of girls, whatever, from across the room, you can often see that the alpha male of the group has a voice that you can hear all the way from across the room, but you can't hear anyone else's voices because they're moderating and lowering their voices in relation to him. It's a very interesting thing. If you guys learn about voice, like if you really focus on it, and when you go out, you look at the voices of guys that are cool, it will just be a tremendous education. So focus on that. Now, when you talk, very important, you do what's called the no way out rule. This is something one of the, Mike J. Who took a boot camp with Mike J in here? One of you guys in Australia? You did? This is what Mike J taught me. It's something good really good mentality that he does. He calls it the no way out mentality. And what that is when he goes in there is just no way out of that conversation. There's no possibility. We call that, a word that I use for that is called plowing. And what plowing means is that when you start talking, you just keep talking until something hits. You just keep going until something works. Now let me tell you why. What most guys will do is they're coming from a reactive frame. They're coming from a very reactive state of mind, and when they approach the girl and they open the conversation, they very much want for that conversation to go well. And that's understandable. That's, you know, it's completely understandable. But the thing is, this is a stranger. You don't know this girl and she doesn't know you. It's your job to convey your personality. Think of it like a goldfish bowl. If you just keep talking, you're not even really expecting her to be responsive, you just talk. It's like giving her the opportunity to look in at the goldfish and see what this goldfish is without being required to do anything. So when you think about plowing, you might think, well, that's obnoxious, because it kind of is. But at the same time, it's such a power, you know, when done properly. Anything done wrong is always going to be obnoxious, even things that are nice. But when done properly, what plowing is supposed to be is, say that I start talking and the girls are indifferent. And then maybe I move the conversation in some other direction and it's something that she's into. You'll see it. It's this amazing thing where you cross this kind of it's like a hook point. You know, that's my buddy Neil has an expression, he calls it a hook point. And what happens is it's like that point where when you cross it, the girls want you to stay more than they want you to leave, if you guys can kind of compute that. It's like that point where you know you're in. It doesn't mean that you're in for sex. It doesn't mean that the girl, you know, is gonna drag you to the bathroom. It just means that girl, you've made her night more fun and she wants you to stay. And the way that you accomplish that is just by continuing to talk. Say you veer the conversation to music, puppy dogs, you know, whatever it is, and something hits that she likes, and all of a sudden she wants you to stay. And so that's the mindset that you're in, is you're in your own reality. You're talking about the stuff that you want to talk about, you're enjoying your conversation, and you're not worried too much about her reaction. And if you just plow through that, you'll be amazed. You'll get that reaction. You'll get it eventually. And when you do, great, but you don't depend on it. You want to structure opportunities to help them talk whenever you can. Just a point of being polite. One of the old ones that I used to have is I'd say, hey guys, do girls think the rock star David Bowie is hot? I used to ask that. I'd say, because my younger sister has a poster of David Bowie up on her wall. And, you know, she's kind of young, right? That kind of doesn't make sense to me. You know, does that make sense? And, you know, I think some people who read about that, they interpreted that as, you know, well, you're having to come up with an excuse to talk to the girl. You're having to come up with some kind of excuse to start a conversation. But see, that's just so far outside of my reality because I certainly don't need an excuse to talk to a woman. The reason why I might say something like that is to give her the excuse to talk to me. It's the same reason as when I say, you know, let's go up to my house. I might say I've got cool home videos there. I'm giving her that reason that she needs to go up to the house. It's the same thing. I'm sort of, you know, greasing the joints there or greasing the wheels. I'm trying to give her an opportunity to throw in any kind of opinion or anything to say. So whenever you can talk to a girl, when you open, if you can give her an opportunity to say something interesting, she's going to love you for it because you structured an opportunity for her to convey her personality to you. So you structure an opportunity for her to let her shine, and she's going to appreciate you for that. Now sometimes when you do that, what girls will do is they'll take over. They'll go conversation tyrant on your ass. They will just take over. You've got to be careful about that because what sometimes will happen is they'll basically start controlling the conversation on you. So they'll be like, yeah, I'll give you my opinion on that. And they just start laying down the law on you. And of course, when you're new, you kind of like that because it means you don't have to talk. You don't have to think of anything to say for another 10 seconds, so you're happy. It's like getting up on the wave for an extra 10 seconds. But what that really is, it's almost like surfing and getting up on the wave, but you know that you're tipping forward too much, but you're tipping yourself forward as a way to stay on, but you know that's going to result in you falling off. It's the same kind of thing. It's like when you approach girls, sometimes what will happen is you'll want to go in super high energy. Like, hey guys, okay, like that. And it works. It works fantastic. If you go in like that, bang, it'll open. But can you sustain that? Can you sustain that energy level? It's like going in like a clown. If you go in like a clown, you will get a great reaction. But you can't sustain that. It will go away. So you're always wanting to moderate the energy level of the interaction to something that's realistically sustainable, even on the telephone, even on the second time that you see her. Because if you've got this crazy intense vibe going in the club, it will not be sustainable. I remember when I first came into this, when I first started learning, some of the guys who I learned from would just do this intense stuff and blew me away. I was like, wow. And then I started to hang out with them more and I realized they're getting flaked. They are getting flaked left and right. They cannot get women to call them back. Because what happened was they generated this huge amount of attraction in the venue, but when they go to call on the phone and they sound normal, the girl's like, it's like there's something out of alignment there and the girl just instinctively pulls away. So you want to go in at a slightly higher energy level than the girls, or even at a lower energy level, but be so congruent with it that they will slow down for you. But at the same time, like you want to have the good energy, but at the same time, it has to be something that's sustainable throughout the course of the interaction.